Amidst the ongoing row over the murder of the Khalistani terrorist Hardeep Singh Nijjar, recalled Indian envoy to Canada, Sanjay Verma has made some explosive claims and alleged that Khalistani extremists and terrorists are deep assets of Canada's Security Intelligence Service, which is the CSIS. He also accused the Canadian government of encouraging Khalistani extremists, which is an allegation that is made repeatedly by the Ministry of External Affairs in India. The statement made by the ambassador have come just days after Canada labelled the High Commissioner and 5 other Indian diplomats as persons of interest in the killing of Hardeep Singh Nijjar. Mehndi Garg is joining us for more details on this story. Mehndi, these are some very serious charges being levelled against Canada by our former Indian envoy there.
We called Indian High Commissioner to Canada, Sanjay Verma.
Mehndi, can you hear me? Ambassador KP Fabian, former diplomat, is joining us on the broadcast. Ambassador Fabian, big charges being made by our former Indian envoy to Canada, who of course has had all sorts of allegations put on him by the Canadian government. What do you make of what he's had to say?
Well, our ambassador, or the High Commissioner, has said that, these Khalistanis are, quote, deep assets for the RCMP or other authorities in Canada. Well, when I was there in Canada, 82 to 85, during this time, the Blue Star happened, Indira Gandhi's assassination happened, and also Kanishka. And I was also attacked in Manitoba physically by Khalistanis. They threw eggs on me, hit my head, and they also managed to hit me with a long stick when RCMP was there to protect me. What happened was that the RCMP, 4 of them walked in front of me, 4 of them walked behind me without giving me a ring. Anyway, the point is that I, of course, did not ask Canadian government to take any action on them. I thought it was for them to take any action and let me know. They did not take any action. In other words, even then I had noticed there is a certain soft corner, for Sikh extremists on the part of the RCMP. And I also should add very clearly that if had RCMP carried out its duties responsibly, the Kanishka crash would not have occurred.
Right. Ambassador Fabian, clearly, of course, as you're saying, there are a big, lapses because of which, of course, that Kanishka tragedy occurred. But do you believe there is this malaise in the system then that has existed over the years and nothing has changed in Canada? This clear Khalistani nexus within their police and within their administration?
Well, I think coming back to our times, my view is that Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, for domestic political considerations, has decided, and I think it's a wrong decision on his part, but has decided that getting difficult or tough with India might help him in terms of his political survival within Canada. It is not that he has anything against India, but, it is sort of a tactic. So I personally think he is pursuing that policy, and I think that he is wrong. And you may recall that on the 18th of September, last year, he had told the House of Commons that there were, quote, credible allegations, unquote, about the involvement of Indian agents in the assassination of Nijjar. Now, to say credible allegations when inquiry was still going on, well, that is not exactly done. And in the same House of Commons, his foreign minister said the RCMP was conducting an inquiry. So my question to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau through you is, why couldn't you have waited? Why couldn't I have waited for the inquiry to be complete, or at least for an interim report to be given by the RCMP?
Okay. Absolutely. Ambassador Fabian, we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much for joining us with your perspective. Now, Sanjay Verma's statement has, of course, come right after Pannu had also said that he had given briefings to Canada for 3 years. Let's in fact listen in.
Yeah, but why would you do the same thing you're criticizing the government? Before we go, I do want to ask you about the larger picture of the relationship as you leave, because it is a significant relationship, both in an economic and in other sense. First of all, will your colleagues be replaced? Like, will you and your colleagues, when you leave, is the government of India going to replace you?
That is a discussion we will have with the Canadian side. Largely, given the mistrust that we have on Mr. Trudeau and his team, we'll have concerns, and we'll discuss it very carefully with them. Our security and safety are concerned. So there are so many things. Khalistani extremists are being encouraged all the time. I also know, again, this is my allegation, I'm not giving you any evidence on that. I also know that some of these Khalistani extremists and terrorists are deep assets of CSIS. So I'm giving that acquisition. Again, I'm not giving you an evidence.
Without evidence, just the same thing you're
Same
criticizing
thing which Trudeau
the government.
did. Yes.
Yeah, but why would you do the same thing you're criticizing the government of?
Because that is what is understood by the Canadian politicians. That someone stands on the floor of the parliament, says something which he later says, I didn't have any hard evidence. And that was taken as biblical truth.
But you're criticizing the Prime Minister, and then I'll just point out doing the same thing. I want to move on, though, because I asked if you will be replaced. Will your government allow the Canadian diplomats who have been expelled to be replaced?
Well, see, the same thing. It is a matter of conversation between the two governments. As far as the relationship itself is concerned, it is a large relationship. Canada had been a friend of India. Canada will remain a friend of India. There had been issues between two countries that many countries have. That's not a surprise. We only want the Canadian regime of the day, the government of the day, to understand my core concerns and try to act on that sincerely, rather than being bedfellows with those who are trying to challenge Indian sovereignty and territorial integrity. And mind you, the largest Sikh population in the world is in India. They undergo elections at least every 5 years. Their election voting percentage is much higher than any time of Canadian elections. So I can go on and on this, but the short point is that what happens to India will be decided by Indians. These Khalistani terrorists and extremists who are based out of Canada are not Indians, they are Canadian citizens, and no government should encourage their citizens to attack sovereignty and territorial integrity of the country.
And to be clear, the government of India should not seek to extrajudicially harm those people.
Come with you. I'm extremely...
Correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And just one final question
on
what happens with the relationship going forward. Our trade minister has explicitly said that she does not anticipate the trade relationship be impacted by this. Is that the view also of your government?
Absolutely.
It is.
Absolutely. People-to-people relationship, trade relationship, cultural relationship. So everything, science and technology, and education, those relationships have got nothing to do with it.
RP Singh, a BJP spokesperson, is in fact joining us on the broadcast. RP Singh, Gurpatwant Singh Pannu now saying that he was briefing Canada for many years. Is this exposing the nexus within the administration of the Khalistanis there?
Well, the problem is that when, because of political compulsions, the governments or the politicians, they compromise on the basic sanctity of their governance. There's the problem with what's happening in Canada and in relationship with India. There's the problem. And the way Justin Trudeau is supporting the Khalistanis. We all know there's an election next year there. Hello? I'm allowed to... hello?
Please go ahead, sir. We can hear you.
Okay. So we know there's an election next year, and the NDP, the Jagmeet Singh's party, has already withdrawn support. And it's not only the support; it's also the money which matters from the Sikhs in the influential Sikhs in Canada. And Justin Trudeau is targeting them. He knows that he can get their votes also and then get a lot of financial support also. That's the objective. And that's why all this is happening. I mean, that's why Pannu is allowed to say what he has to say. That's why Ripudaman Malik is being killed, no inquiry, although he was a part of the Nijjar gang, I mean, same gang which Nijjar was. He was co-accused in the that Kanishka bomb blast. But no action against him, no action against the killers of Ripudaman Singh Malik. But for Nijjar, for them, Nijjar is a hero. Although, as per my understanding, Ripudaman Singh Malik was killed by Nijjar gang because Ripudaman Singh Malik changed heart, and then he visited India also. But and he started maintaining distance with the radicals or Khalistanis. And as per me, Ripudaman Singh Malik's family or someone close to him would have killed Nijjar in retaliation. So, but for him, Trudeau or for the American administration to use these people as tool against India, which is bad and which is sad because they don't understand if you keep snakes in your backyard, they are ultimately going to bite you also. You can keep snakes in your backyard, but ultimately this whole of the system is going to come back to you and it's going to hamper the interests of Canada also.
Right. Absolutely. RP Singh, is this something that, they need to wake up and realize? The fact is, even our former Indian envoy there, on whom, of course, they had leveled charges, he's also come out and exposed what's happening within their system.
Well, fact, I mean, he's right when he says that there's no credible evidence. You talk about credible intelligence, you talk about credible allegations, but no evidence. And then the law moved by evidence. The justice comes through evidence, not through allegations. So tomorrow I can also put allegations against Justin Trudeau that he is in hand in glove with these people for its ulterior motives for its political motives. But it has to be proven. And then again I reiterate, it's all because of the political game. It's all because of the vote bank politics and also with that note bank politics in Canada's perspective. So it's all because of that. It will be good for Canada if they can give some proof instead of just accusing India or trying to put India in corner where there was the Nijjar's killing. And Nijjar was no holy man. Nijjar was a Khalistani. There are videos of him using machine guns and using videos of pistols and other armors, showing off his love for his all that guns and all. So
yes,
he was not a holy man. He was a known terrorist, and India has already sent a message across Nijjar's name, along with Nijjar's name, with other 19 names whom India wants back home because of their activities here or their indulgence here in a lot of terrorist activities.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.